Woohoo! We are back,
Woo-hoo!
baby. Pop the champagne. This was our playoff win. We all know it, boys and girls. This is what you came here for. You wanted to hear us talk shit about the Packers and about this amazing victory, and you're gonna get it. So, oh man, what a victory this was. That's pretty much what we're gonna be doing this whole show. But how can you blame us? So, all in all, Nick, Julius, guys, we didn't make the playoffs, but I think this was like next best case scenario because the other two teams that were kind of in the hunt to ruin the Rams pick spot were the Panthers and the Falcons, and they both won. So didn't need to worry about them. And then the Rams, they gave it their all. Baker Mayfield just absolutely blew it. And of course, Quintricia, they get one last laugh because they, as you guys know, sent Quandre Diggs to the Seahawks for like a 6th round pick. So it's just the way the cookie crumbles. But Nick, what's going on, my man? How you feeling on, the best victory Monday ever?
I love that smell of Victory Monday when it was the Packers. Oh man. Woo, it's some melted cheese. Some fondue parties over here, bro. We melting that cheese. Fuck them cheese heads. It was a great win. I'm feeling great. I mean, we'll get into it more. There is definitely a part of me that just really wishes we could continue to see these boys get out there and motivate the entire city, but we at least got to end it on a extremely high note. Maybe like we ended our season on a high note beating Green Bay last year, but it was nothing like this, obviously. And this was just so sweet for many reasons that we are going to dive right into. The Aaron Rodgers reason, the winning, record reason, just the motivation and what could be and the foundation. There's so many things to break it down, but ultimately I cannot complain. The Rams did everything they could. I don't blame the Rams. I blame the refs, truly. I don't blame Baker Mayfield. I blame the refs, truly. But again, we'll probably dive into that. I don't know. There's so much to dive into. That's how I'm feeling. I'm jibber jabby today. I'm ready to talk. Talk.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. Julius, I see you're repping the Penny Sewell jersey. Our boy played like a monster.
Oh, my God.
Listen, Penny Sewell is my favorite player on a team full of my favorite players, okay? So I'm proud to rep his jersey, and I was proud of the Detroit Lions last night. And that's a feeling that I haven't felt in my 33 years of a Lions fandom. I just have not felt that proud of a Lions team and that this optimistic about the future of a Lions team. And it's a great feeling, even though we missed the playoffs. And real quick, though, that Seahawks Rams game, I was so mad after that game because of the performance of the referees. I know we're going to talk about it. I just was so angry that I kind of disconnected from the Lions-Packers game for like 45 minutes into the game before I started to buy back into the team.
It wasn't until after halftime. Yeah.
They bought me right back in, and I was right along with it all the way up to the end. And it's a great feeling today. It really is.
So, funny story I have. I was actually playing pickup basketball at my high school, and during the Seahawks game, there was, whoever was on the bench was, watching on the box score or whatever. Some kids have the stream. And when the Rams missed that field goal in regulation, I believe, to send it, which forced it to go in overtime, when he missed the field goal, or the Seahawks, the Seahawks missed the field goal, sent in overtime, the whole gymnasium, everyone on 3 courts were just, yeah, woohoo, yeah. So, like, you could tell how much, like, oh my gosh, it meant the world to not just, like, Lions, but the fans, everyone, to make playoffs. It was something special. And granted, we didn't, and there's a whole lot of what ifs, but all in all, the biggest what if I can think of is what if we went 4-13 again and we're just lost. And I'm glad we're in this situation. A lot of what ifs. What if we beat the Panthers? What if we got the Vikings win? Don't matter. We got a top 6 pick. We beat the Packers. They aren't going to the playoffs, so it's a win for me.
Absolutely. We love it. All around, you can't ask for a better way to end it after knowing what happened with the Rams Seahawks.
All right, boys. Let's just hop into it. So first things first, flip on the TV and Packers are getting the ball. We're like, here we go. It's kickoff. Aaron Rodgers does his thing. He's getting ready to, screw the Lions. We know something's coming. And right out of the gate, it was a pass interference that, questionable. If you let the boys play, you let the boys play, which it seemed like they were most of the night. But right off the bat, I'm like, okay, here it comes. This is what we're in for. Lions versus the Packers and the refs. We knew this. Now we're getting it. And sure enough, the Lions, part of me thinks that was like a mini victory because I feel like the refs were trying to spoon feed them a touchdown and didn't happen. Lions held hard, held them to 3, and next thing you know, we yada 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 came back down and got 3 back. So Nick, pass interference. What was your feeling on that?
So anyone who had watched the Rams and Seahawks game, we're going into the Lions game extremely salty, extremely bitter, and like I said earlier, most of it funneled right towards the referee and the officiating. It was egregious what we saw in the Rams-Seattle game, like the most blatant, terrible missed calls I'd seen in a long time. And if any of them get called, the Rams win this game. Any single of the 4 that were missed, the Rams win this game easily. So we're salty, but that happens. Whatever, there's nothing you can do. So, and right off the gate, we see this pass interference. I immediately just got more salty, turned our Twitter into a not suitable for work Twitter. It just blew up. I just, and at this point, I just basically was like laughing, right? It's just like, just bring it. Like, what do you got, refs? Let me see the worst that you've got, referees. And then you're right, Adam. The Lions held so strong, as we did time and time again, as we'll see it as a theme throughout this episode. It was just amazing way to hold them to 3-0.
And
awesome.
then the thing was, we held them. We get the ball back. We're like, all right, it's our turn. And then Goff's coming out with the glove, wobbly throw, 3 and out. Oh my gosh, what's happening? Are we about to get blown out here? And then Julius, what happens on this next Packers drive? They get the ball back and break it down for me.
Aiden Hutchinson pretty much was unleashed. I can remember when we drafted Aiden Hutchinson, and I remember how happy and giddy Dan Campbell was. Like, I want to unleash Hutch. Yeah, shout out to the jersey, Adam. You already know he is a certified beast and a future superstar in this league, if he's not already one. Because he just manhandled the offensive line of the Green Bay Packers at Lambeu at night in the cold. He didn't care. It was like his performance almost against Ohio State in his last game against Ohio State.
Like
where he just turned monster on Ohio State's offensive line. They couldn't hold him. That's how that first half started for the Lions defensively. And Kirby Joseph is a sniper on Aaron Rodgers. Like, Kirby Joseph, we solved the safety position. We got so many questions. It's so many players. And see, you could just start digging into this, and he almost had 3 interceptions on Aaron Rodgers.
I know, oh my gosh.
2 rookies dominating Lambeu at night on Sunday Night Football to keep them away from the playoffs. Listen, I was stunned. They've won 8 out of their last 10 games. You think we have got used to it a little bit? No, I'm not even used to it yet. I'm still stunned in a good way. But they turned the defense up on Aaron Rodgers in the first half. It was all field goals. That's pretty much field goals and referee flags that saved the Packers in the first half.
Honestly, yeah, because the Packers, Lions didn't do anything. They get the ball back, and we held them on that day. It was a 4th and 1. They did like a little sweep left or something. I don't know if it was like a jet sweep or whatever, but it looked like it was a good play call. And then out of nowhere, Anzalone coming up the middle and makes the tackle. And it was just
Isaiah Buggs too. Isaiah Buggs dominated that game. Isaiah Buggs.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit more about Buggs like in the future of this like show, not this show, but the program. He has got to be the top free agent we have to go after. Over Jamal Williams. I'm sorry, but over Jamal, like I think Isaiah Buggs is the most important. Him and Aleem, even if we add in Jalen Carter, which won't happen, but like Brian Brees, like even if we draft interior defensive line, I want Buggs so bad. He's a beast, dude. I love him. And
Yeah.
Jamal, we do want Jamal. We want Jamal too.
Okay, where the hell did Bugs even come from? I know we claimed him, but do you guys know what college he was from? Or
no, I think he went to Alabama, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken, and he was undrafted, and he ended up with the Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh released him after a season or two, and we claimed him.
And I remember seeing him in preseason. I remember specifically, and I've tweeted a video, and I'll have to go back and look. In like August, whatever, second preseason game, he made one of the most spectacular plays I had like ever seen. And I was like, who is this? What are we doing? Like, I love this guy. And he has just made such a reputable name, maybe a little too much. He's going to be expensive this year. He will be. But for this game, he was unbelievable. And like you said, on that one play that they tried to do that 4th and 1, Anzalone, he had missed a couple tackles prior to on Aaron Jones. He had been skating around on ice skates. It wasn't looking great. And then he made that he made up for it right there, and it was a turner. It was like, dude, we are gonna do this.
How about our other guy we signed as a waiver, John Kaminsky? Dude played like an absolute beast, forced a fumble. Has the big club hand, and that fumble we'll eventually get into. But how it all happened was it was so like this game. This was truly like the first Lions game I felt we weren't cursed. It wasn't going to go the wrong way. We weren't going to, get the bad break. As we saw the fumble and the interception, and there were some, ref moments where the refs did screw us, but there were like certain little things where it was like Rasul Douglas kicking the ball when we were trying to kick a field goal, Quay Walker punching our trainer, and it's like normally we're seeing the Lions make these boneheaded like shoot themselves in the foot plays, and it's nice to see your arch rival doing this stuff. So it's good that it's the passing of the torch, so to speak. But all in all, going back to the fumble, James Houston, he was offsides. Roger just gets his little hard count, pushes it to 4th and 1. They convert the 4th and 1. And then the very next play, John Kaminsky forced a fumble on Aaron Jones and Aleem McNeil. I love this, man. Body slams. I forget who it was. I think it was Tanyan who was trying to go for the ball, but he absolutely just body slams Tanyan. So he goes out of bounds.
The ref tried to make it sound like he did it on purpose to confirm that Robert Tanyan, who had a foot out of bounds, if all he had to do was touch the ball.
Mike Trico was, oh my gosh, he kept saying, he's like, oh, that was Tanyan. He knew if he could just get his foot. And I was like, Tanyan did not.
But he did also give credit to Aleem McNeil for knowing, for somehow knowing that Robert Tanyan did know that and doing that body slam for him.
Yeah, it was a good,
We'll probably get into the announcers a little bit more, but yes, they were very one-sided. And that was, you're right, he was very much like, Tanyan was such a smart play. But we do think immediately, who do you think of when you think of that? Randall Cobb when he returned the ball. So it does, you do like kind of think of the Packers that they are kind of the only team that really thinks about something like that. But Aleem did an amazing job on that, because then who recovered it?
It was us.
Mike Hughes, right?
I think it was Hughes. That's who it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a great way to box out the Tanyan and allow Mike Hughes to.
And then, that led to I believe that was the drive. We marched down. We're getting ready to kick a long field goal. First, we had 5 seconds left, and we run that crisp route to Amon-Ra. He comes in motion, does a little like flat out, and Goff just hits him with a nice, easy pass. And what I've kind of started to see is he's got those easy little check downs down. He is money for that. So if he could just develop, man, that deep ball, Goff could be something. And it's, it's not impossible. We've seen quarterbacks, do it, so to speak. So, whole different story. But all in all,
I don't want to just skate over that drive. Are you talking about the last drive of the half?
Yes. So we get the first down, and then Rasul Douglas gives us the extra 15 yards to make what an idiot. Was a 48-yarder to like it was like a 30-yard, 32-yarder chip shot, and like Julius. What was he like? What was he on there? Like,
The Michael Badgley.
No, Rasul
No,
Douglas.
Rasul
Oh,
Douglas.
Rasul
Slammed the ball where he just walks up and just
Did
like.
you see his tweet? Did you see what he said about it?
No,
Oh,
what did he say?
He said everyone's tripping or whatever. He's like, we called timeout, and he had missed one earlier, and I didn't want him to have a free kick. So I walked up to knock the ball out. And then he said, for me pushing the guy after he pushed me, that's on me or whatever. But that's why he did it. He walked up because he didn't want us to get a kick that didn't count.
That was not a smart play. You know what the dumb play was, though? When he punched Dan Skipper after the fact.
Yeah, because that's what got the penalty.
Yeah.
He didn't get the
Thank
penalty.
you, because Badgley is money under 40. So we really appreciate that. Thanks for it.
Badgley pissed me off missing the first field goal, though.
Listen, you cannot trust Badgley is a question mark as far as I'm concerned. You cannot trust him past 45.
There'll be enough kickers coming out this year. We got to get one undrafted. But also,
Big Moody, go blue.
Well, shit, maybe.
Yeah.
We had. What did we think about this clock management we had right at the end of this? So we get this ball, and we get a big play down the middle of the field, and we have one timeout to go, and 20 seconds.
That classic Dan Campbell.
That was we went from 20 seconds to 5 seconds. Jared Goff going down, calling a play, getting everyone lined up, and then throwing an incomplete pass. I am not saying you needed to use your timeout. Save that timeout. I get that. You don't want to use that timeout. You have 20 seconds. Run that up. Now you have about 10 seconds. You get everyone in, and you spike that ball. It is first down.
No. Is it what happened? Goff was making adjustments, and he goes up to hike it, and then he just ended up calling timeout with 1 second left.
Oh, I don't know.
No, it wasn't 1 second.
That's a different drive. I'm talking about the very end of the half. Very end of the half, we complete a 20-yard pass with 20 seconds to go, with one timeout to go. Goff gets everyone down there and is calling a play out, and it takes 15 seconds. It takes about 13 seconds, and then 2 seconds, and he throws an incomplete pass. Then we throw that quick slant to Amon-Ra St. Brown, call the timeout, and it takes 3 seconds off the clock. It was awesome. It was an amazing play. I thought that's what you were talking about, Adam. That's why I was bringing this up.
Yeah.
Okay, so but before that, what we should have done is ran down there, spiked it, and we still had that timeout. We could have still ran that play, and maybe still ran another out play or something. It was bad management. It was bad clock management, and this game was a whole win. That's the one thing that it seems like Dan Campbell has cleaned up, and our team has cleaned up pretty well. But that's still his bugaboo. We gotta get that cleaned up. Yeah. We just have to fix that a little bit more. And I'm not saying bring someone in, but maybe take a couple classes or something this year. I don't know. There's got to be.
I think he's gotten better at it over the last years.
Yes,
as long as he keeps getting better at it, as long as he improves greatly over the offseason going into next season, I think he'll be all right in that regard.
Goff just needs to spike that. That saves 5 seconds without him trying to get there and then call play as the clock's ticking.
Luckily, Rasul Douglas had a lapse of judgment.
Yes, and it worked out great. Yes, and 6-9 at halftime. Hey, we all loved it.
What was actually crazy is the Lions started both their opening drives of the game and of the second half on back-to-back not back-to-back, but 3 and out. So 3 and out was our opening drive, and in the second half, we got the ball right away. We went 3 and out. So Lions, it was nice to see that we just didn't fall apart. We didn't pull a classic, Rodgers march down the field, blow it at the end. It truly felt like this was our game to win from honestly the start to finish, as weird as it sounds. And we were trailing, but the more field goals they kept kicking, the better I felt, because I knew our offense, it was going to come. We were going to get, 20 points at least. And that's all we needed to do is hold them under 20 and get 20. And that's what we did. And last time we played them, we held them to 9. So 15
and the excuse was that he broke his thumb and he had this bad thumb and now he's healthy. And whoops, that was just an excuse, because ultimately we're just a better team. And Aiden Hutchinson and Kirby Joseph are Aaron Rodgers' daddies. That's just facts. That's science. So you love to see it. You just do.
And then how about James Williams showing off the Jets there? Nearly had the first touchdown of the game, which we ironically would have called, but didn't happen. Oh well.
I almost texted. I was like,
I know. I saw it. I was like, no way.
It's cool though. It's cool because
Yes.
That's all we needed was a
Yep.
little bit of Jameson. And honestly, sky's the limit for Jameson Williams.
Dude, he was stumbling as like faster than the defensive backs. He was like, "Oh
He
my
stumbled
god!"
faster than they ran.
That's what exactly, dude. They are sprinting, and Jameson stumbling still fast. And could you imagine next year after a full offseason with Goff and those small little routes that they run with Amon-Ra, and like they've given Jameson, he's dropped a couple. He dropped a big one early in this game, and he's dropped a couple actually. Like he needs to hit the jugs 202 times, like Amon-Ra St. Brown daily. Like, and that's, I hope he's listening because that just needs to happen. But once he gets the ball in his hand, no one can touch him. He is like a flash of lightning. You cannot stop him. And it's once we get 8 catches a game, that's 4 touchdowns a game, guaranteed every time. It's easy.
So honestly, that's all we need. And if we bring back Chark, we could have a deadly 3-headed monster going into next season. And, you know, even if we don't, we got a lot of draft picks if we want to take, you know, a good wide receiver with one of our second-round picks. That's a good first-round pick, potentially. You never know. But, yeah, Nick, where do you think the Lions will be ranked next year? All the teams, out of all 32. I would
love to say 8th. I'll rank them number 1. That's for dang sure.
I will say they had the 9th best point differential in the NFL for the regular season. So
I think people are going to really buy into us, and I think we're going to be the darlings of media next year. And that's not ever, but that's sometimes not a great thing. It is better, in my opinion, to be the underdog, but we've been the underdog for 70 years. Let's see what it's like to be the darlings of the NFL. But I mean, I bet you, ranked. I think 8th is a great spot, honestly. 8 through 10 in that area.
Yeah, I think I think we're going to be the darlings and the underdogs, actually, in kind of a gray area because because I still don't think that the media is fully on to the Lions or the NFL or like, you know, they're still, you know, we're going to have to prove ourselves in the beginning of next season. You know, don't start 1-6 again, of course. But,
right.
With the added talent and stuff, they're going to be bandwagon full. I'm going to say
I feel like our team is like I don't know which team it was, but was it the 2013 Cardinals when they went to the Super Bowl with Kurt Warner, Larry Fitzgerald? They had, I forget who the running back was, but they had a good team. But all in all, Kurt Warner and Larry Fitzgerald kind of gives me a Jared Goff and Amon-Ra type 5. Obviously, Kurt Warner's, you know, a little bit better than Jared Goff, but
a little.
Larry Fitzgerald and Amon-Ra, I see a lot of similarities. And say what you want. I mean, Goff played pretty damn good. And if somehow, some way, he were to, you know, perhaps get a Super Bowl ring for the Lions, then honestly, Goff would shoot way up in a lot of people's rankings.
It's Captain Obvious over here. Well, if Jared Goff wins the Super Bowl, people might actually respect. Yeah, dude, but Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of gray here. I don't know where you're going with this conversation, but I mean, Joe Flacco, Kurt Warner, there's a huge. One's a Hall of Famer. Jared Goff right now is nowhere near.
You never know. Well, I was more or less compared to Larry Fitzgerald and Amon-Ra.
Kurt Warner came into the league as a Hall of Famer, came into the league just lighting it up with the Rams. Like, literally no one could stop him. 5,000 yards.
Larry Fitzgerald, 6'5", 220. Amon-Ra, he's a little bit different kind of receiver.
But they don't drop balls. And that's one of the best.
That is what I'm Mr. Reliable, where it's like, I need a first down. I'm going to the one guy I can always count on. Maybe not Larry Fitzgerald, but like there's tons of guys for like throughout the years that have always had, you know, he's Mr. Reliable. Boom. Always good for, 7 yards. And we saw it. Oh my gosh. It made me so mad when Amon-Ra had that first catch where he goes out, snags it. I thought 100% that was a catch. Of course, the announcer was like, oh no, of course it's not a catch, blah, blah, blah. And that made me so mad, that challenge, because it was just another one of those little here we go moments. And then what happens at the very end? Amon-Ra gets the last laugh and says, nuh-uh-uh. This ball didn't touch the ground. I pinched it with my ass cheeks, flipped it through my legs, and ripped it out of your hands, buddy boy. This is a catch. Review it. And sure enough, the refs were like, I think it was a catch. So we should
Yeah,
probably
touched
just
the
keep
ground.
this game moving and
That
bang.
was such a good catch. That was so fun. God, I
It was
love
great. It
football.
was lovely. It was lovely. And I'd like to thank the refs for that hands to the face penalty flag. I want to call that one out too.
Oh my gosh.
What did that prevent? What did that prevent
The
from
Kirby
happening?
Joseph
The Kirby
interception,
Joseph
man.
interception. The Kirby on a poorly thrown pass from Aaron Rodgers. And thank you, refs, for giving me PTSD. That's really what it did in that moment. You know?
The next freaking play I tweeted out, the next play, Mercedes Lewis grabs our guy's face and just rips his helmet like the other way. Very next play. And it's like, dude, you gotta be consistent with it. But like you're not gonna normally get that call. You'll get the call when his head locks back. And we did it. Like it's just
I want to say one thing,
Yeah.
last thing about the refs in Seattle, real quick. Did y'all know that the head of that referee team was a native of Seattle? Was grew up there, lives there.
Got a Russell Wilson tattoo. No, I'm just kidding.
Like I just,
dude,
so
I did
that's-
not know that. That is
I just
some
learned it today on 97.
fucked up conspiracy right there.
I know. I was listening to 97 won a ticket. The head of that team is a native Seattle guy. How's the NFL let that happen? Like they
Well, I mean, yeah, you would think you'd just get a different crew, right? Like a crew that has no background living in that.
Like this. Oh, he's from Seattle. He lives in Seattle. Maybe we should get somebody else to head this crew, right? It's
No,
like
it'll be an easy drive for him. He can just Uber to work. It'll be good for him.
And then we saw the worst. It was the worst.
Dude, that Rams Seahawks game, that running into the kicker, the running
That was
into the punter,
terrible.
it was the worst. The punter grabbed him and brought him back with him. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Horrible. It was absolutely egregious, and it was the game. That was the call.
It was the game
that gave the Seahawks the win because they could not score on the Rams at that point. They were about to punt them the ball right back.
Jalen Ramsey was playing his ass off. Like it was.
No,
I couldn't believe, and no penalties in the second half on Seattle. Just 5 on Los Angeles. Just terrible. Jalen Ramsey's one where Geno Smith was inbounds when he had never touched out of bounds. Like you can't just make these spectacle calls.
The Quandre Diggs taunting, like
that was
the DK Metcalf headbutt. Like
it almost felt like they were trying to the Lions in real time. Like
it was the first time I've seen the same old Lions aroma go outside of Detroit, outside of the game of Detroit. Like Detroit needed this thing to happen, and the same old Lions were like just the cloud lingered over to Seattle and was like, Mah. It was terrible, dude.
Such a great point.
I will say, the Seahawks having to play the 49ers is a little bit better than the Seahawks. Like if the 49ers were to lose or the Vikings were, to finish with the 2 seed and it was the Vikings, we would have been playing a team we know we could have just smacked right in the face. But the 49ers, a little bit scarier. But, obviously I definitely think we could have given them a run for their money.
Definitely
absolutely would have loved to have been there than to,
I hope Seattle loses 122 to -2. You know what I mean? Like,
I want the Giants to just slaughter the Vikings in Minnesota. I want Kirk Cousins to play like a 4 p.m. Saturday Kirk Cousins or 4 p.m. Sunday Kirk Cousins or 8:30. But whatever, you're not playing at 1 p.m.
So
Kirk
you're
Cousins.
definitely getting one. You know what I mean?
So I want him to play like that, and the Giants to just, Brian Daboll, go get yourself a playoff win, make New York proud. They've been in there, crap. Let them have this year, and next year, it's going to be Lions, 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 baby.
Hear Rex Ryan say the next 5. Rex Ryan's son is a wide receivers assistant coach for the Detroit Lions? So I did not know that.
Did not.
Yeah. And Rex Ryan's son was the one who drew up the hook and ladder play from Monroe St. Brown to DeAndre Swift. Did we know that?
I did not, really. So that was Rex Ryan's son?
That's Rex Ryan's son who drew that play up. It was a wide receivers assistant coach. And Rex Ryan was obviously the only one who on ESPN who believed in us. Tony Dungy, the only one on CBS or NBC who believed in us. Rex Ryan went on this year Get Up or whatever this morning and said for the next 5 to 6 years, the road through the NFC North will go through Detroit. And my God, did it make me smile. Oh, I was just like, let's go. Because it's true. We're in it.
Yeah.
There is no there, like, if we do not win a playoff game next year, Dan Campbell's got to be gone. That's just it. Like, it just is the something, or Jared Goff, one of the two. Like, we're buying into it, right? This is exactly what we said was going to happen. Was we weren't going to make the playoffs, but we were going to look so good and good enough that we were going to buy into what we had. And I had expressed all offseason that I was not okay with it. I am starting to come around with it. Goff is winning me over, but next year there is no buts. There is no what ifs. If Nate Sudfeld is our backup quarterback and Goff goes down week 1, I do not care. You Brock Purdy that shit and you go win a playoff game. Okay. There is no excuses anymore next year. I gave it this year. I gave 10-7. We got 9-8. I said, if we didn't get 10-7 and to the playoffs, I wanted Dan Campbell on the hot seat. I will eat crow on that. I will not want Dan Campbell on the hot seat. He's amazing. But next year is it. It is it. We're there. We're here.
You're right.
Yeah, and well, the one thing we do have going for us, where obviously you saw what happened from the Lions when we, injected Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, Kirby Joseph, and, the rest of the boys showed that we didn't need a tight end in Hawkinson. We don't need to address that. Got more draft picks for that. And now we're looking at 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and just a plethora of not plethora, but, a lot of picks all around. So all in all, you take these picks and add them to what we've already got. The 6th pick overall, we took Hutchinson at 2. So it's like
took Sewell at 7.
Yeah, it was there were some stud exactly. So we're going to get a legit superstar that is going to contribute from day one, and possibly 2 legit superstars that will contribute day one, possibly 7 starters that will contribute day one, because Brad Holmes is so dang good. So I am just so excited for this draft. And honestly, I don't care if Brad Holmes drafts, a punter that can do 50 different things in the 3rd round. If he is confident in that guy, I am trusting Brad Holmes. So
we need to address cornerbacks. So let's talk about Amani Aurorier.
Oh,
whoops! This dude gets flagged for the most blatant pass interference I've ever seen. And Christian Watson makes one of the most spectacular catches on a team that passed on him for Jameson Williams. Makes this amazing catch. And I sat there for that play and was like, this might be it. This is where Green Bay takes over. This is where Green Bay runs away with it, and we aren't going to be able to do anything about it. And it was an amazing catch. And it was all Aurorier. And it was like right after, I think, Adam, you tweeted like, man, I forgot Okudah wasn't playing. And then it was like, whoops, wait a minute. No. I need Okudah back in. Actually, I forgot about that.
That was exactly right.
Amani is a good college corner. That's what he is. And he's a bad NFL corner. He probably won't even be in the league very much longer. Maybe another team will give him a chance, like Tease Tabor. But he was a healthy.
Did you hear Tease Tabor's name during the Rams-Seahawks game?
Yeah, he made a pass breakup, I think.
Almost a pick. I was like, Tease Tabor. It was the Leo DiCaprio moment. Like
first career pick he had. He never had an interception. He hasn't had an interception yet.
I don't even know. Amani O, I tweeted this out. I said, this is one of the biggest Detroit sports fall offs in out of any of the 4 big teams. And it's weird to say, but this dude was our starting quarterback. He was coming in week 1, the guy, the lockdown guy. And then the first thing that kind of set off a little, that's weird, was when it was Will Harris and Amani Aurorier will compete for that. I think it was number 2 or number 1 spot while Okudah was out. And you're thinking, why is Amani O having to compete with Will Harris? We already know who Will Harris is. This doesn't make any sense. And lo and behold, it made a lot of sense. And Amani O, it's just when he would get beat, he just holds pass interference, and you can't do that. And it stinks when you hold, you get the pass interference, and the dude still makes the catch. So it's just tackle the guy. At least don't let him have the good catch, the momentum, all right, I'm I can catch anything now type, moment. So
Corner is our number 1 need next year, going into next year.
Yes. I'm glad we don't have to pay him anything next year. He's an unrestricted free agent. So hopefully he finds a home in another team, not anywhere in the North. Well, maybe not. I should say it could be a good thing.
What if we doubled down on cornerback in the 1st round? What if we do Keely Ringo out of Georgia, who we're going to see tonight. Watch him, guys. Focus on that cornerback. He is going to be. There's a very good chance we might end up with him somehow. But then, if Cam Smith from South Carolina or Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State are there at 18, we double down at cornerback with Okudah and Jerry Jacobs. I know everyone we probably should get interior defensive line, but if we spend big on Bugs and Aleem McNeil. I mean, yes, we need in depth, but I don't know. I mean, if we're spending big on Bugs and we have Aleem McNeil, maybe we don't need Brian Brees or Jalen Carter off the bat. And if we have James Houston, Aiden Hutchinson, maybe we don't need Miles Murphy from Clemson right off the bat. Maybe we can go 2 cornerbacks in the first round and just have – what if we get 2 outstanding cornerbacks that are just locked down with Jerry Jacobs running the nickel or Okudah running the nickel or Okudah being a backup because God knows injuries happen, especially to corners. Life happens. You can never have too many cornerbacks. I would love it. I mean, I'm not saying we need to do it, but it would just be a fun strategy.
I would definitely do 2 corners. I would do 2 corners. I'd be happy if we got Ringo and Porter with our 2 picks.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Brad Holmes knows something. Brad Holmes knows something we don't, guys. I'm happy about that. And by the way, this rebuild, when they were hired, this rebuild is complete this offseason. This offseason is the finishing touch. And that's why you said, Nick, going into next season, we're going for the division. Mm-hmm. Not just the playoffs, playoff wins. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Already. And this is before we even had our additions and subtractions in the offseason. Mm-hmm. This is just right now. We already know it. So
I think Adam, you tweeted out something about we're getting playoff wins, and I don't know if I did tweet back, but I was almost going to, and maybe I did push send, but I was going to be division titles only. I don't care about the playoffs next year. I'm done with the wild card. I'm done with the woods. I do not want 5, 6, 7. I want home playoff games. I want a division win. Minnesota is not that good. They will not win the division next year. They are just too iffy. Normally teams that have so many 1-win losses, it just kind of seems to go the other way the next year. You don't continue to win 13 of 14 one-score games. It just doesn't happen. Green Bay is in such an amount of flux, and if it's Jordan Love starting, who the heck knows? And then we all know the Bears are straight trash. They trade their 2nd-round pick for Chase Claypool. They don't know what they're doing over there.
Actually, you know what's funny about that? That's tactically a 1st-round pick because the Bears got the 101, and as you guys know, the Dolphins got their 1st-round pick stripped from them, so there'll only be 31 1st-round draft picks, and then the Steelers will have the 1st pick of the 2nd round, which is pick 32.
Exactly, and that just says that Bears don't know what they're doing in their front office. They just don't know what's going on right now. That means it is, and as Julius just said, our rebuild is complete. It has to be complete. There is it's rebuilt. That is rebuilt. What you have rebuilt is now your house. You live in it. You die in it. And you better hope that you built a house that the big bad wolf can't blow down. You know what I mean? I hope that shit's made out of bricks. And it seems like we have got a brick foundation right now. It really does. And it can just continue to add to it this year. But that's it. Exactly like everyone just mentioned. It all cycles into a division win. Not a 7th seed, 9-8. Oh, we got to play Green Bay again to get in or something. None of that. 14-3, laughing as we blow dust by you. We went 5-1 in the division this year. Should have been 6-0 if Dan Campbell called that game correctly. 6-0 in the division, and I expect nothing less for the next 3 or 4 years.
The Bears are hoping. The Bears and their whole fan base.
Oh, it's
listen
great.
to this.
There's so many ifs and what ifs for them.
That Ryan Poles does what Brad Holmes did last offseason. Mm-hmm. That's what they're hoping for. You know what the chances are that's going to happen?
So slim. Also, I would take Jared Goff 10 out of 10 times over Justin Fields. He's just not there. He's not there. I don't know if he'll ever get there, and he could. Justin Fields, honestly, he does have a lot of potential, but he is not there. And I don't foresee him making a Jalen Hurts type progression next year unless we see the Bears go out and get Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins could be on the move. There's no doubt about it that they're going to try to get wide receivers there. But unless those 2 types of receivers come to Chicago, I have no confidence in that team. So Detroit all the way. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers will be back. I think I said this on the air. I said Aaron Rodgers will be out of Green Bay if we beat him.
I agree. I think both both him and Green Bay are going to figure some sort of money out, reduce the contract, guaranteed this, that, and he's going to get traded. He'll go out to the AFC and likely try to compete in some crappy division over there if there is one in the AFC. But who knows what Rodgers is going to do? All I know is doesn't matter if he's here, if he's gone. We own the Packers. We've beaten them, I think, like 4 straight games now, at least 3 that I can remember. But all in all, also, if we're talking Bears too, there's one player that just jumps to the top of my mind that I don't mind paying up for, and that's Roquan Smith. If he wants to come play bad guy for the Lions in the North, dominate against his old team for a needy team that needs a versatile linebacker that could, have him train Anzalone, Rodrigo, show the ropes with Barnes. Oh, I don't care if it'll cost a little extra. The Lions do have some spending money. Spend up, lock in our linebacker, and then double down on cornerback, double down on defensive linemen. It is going to get so exciting and fun for the Lions.
I'm very on board with spending every single penny we have to get Roquan Smith. We've seen the adjustment. Baltimore can't lose. Well, they did just lose, but Baltimore was winning a bunch of games 10-2 because Roquan Smith literally came over there and just changed that entire thing. It was amazing. Yeah. And real quick, I wanted to say Aaron Rodgers, my prediction, he's going to be playing for the Dolphins next year. They're going to trade Tua for Aaron Rodgers and like draft picks and stuff.
Oh,
so you guys know
that's it. I like that. Yeah, that's it. That's a good one. That's a good one. I tweet that out, Nick. You might be on something there.
Maybe I should. I'll get run over first.
Crazy to think about. Yeah.
I'm telling you, what's going to happen. Tua is going to be the quarterback in Green Bay. I'm putting money on it right now. I'm telling you.
And it will be the beginning of a long, dark period in the state of West.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Tua Green Bay would be awesome. I hope that does happen. Real quick, let's hop back into this Packers game, wrap this baby up because the ending is just phenomenal, and we haven't even gotten into the best. But so we're getting down to pass interference on Amanio. Christian Watson makes the great catch. You're thinking, oh boy, him and Rodgers are established that connection. And also, did you hear? I love Christian Watson. I love he's a rookie, and trying to hype himself up. But he was literally saying, like, I think I can get to that level of connection that Devontae Adams was at with Aaron Rodgers. And I was just like, no. This is Hall of Fame level connection, buddy. Like, no. Not this year, not next year, maybe in 5 years. You might have that. But by the time that comes, Aaron Rodgers will be an old man out of this league. So not going to work out. But all in all, it leads to an Allen Lazard touchdown. Packers are back 16-13, and the Lions, it seems like this is going to be it. The Lions are, going to kind of let the Packers run away with this. And what happens right when we get the ball back? A 3-and-out, punting it back to the Packers. And Lions fans were kind of hopeless at this point. But then bounced back, held the Packers. They went 3-and-out as well. And then the Lions touchdown drive. Let's talk about this. This was just so picture perfect. To start off, you had just Amon-Ra, that perfect pass right in the middle. And that's when you kind of knew, okay, here we go. We got some juice going. And although Amon-Ra didn't have a big game, I feel like every single one of his catches were like momentum swings, big play moments, were just like ball movement type plays. And he was like, all in all, a big time contributor that you just kind of didn't see on the box score. So Amon-Ra, my little bobblehead boy, shout out to him. Always performing. So we get down to Lions marching down, and of course, they give it to Jamal Williams. This was also kind of interesting. The Lions get to, I think it was 3rd and goal, and it was when Jamal Williams kind of went to that scrum, and I'm 100% sure you guys thought that was a touchdown, right? With that first little, like, he got in there, and then we reset, and we didn't challenge, and I was thinking, come on, challenge us. I hate when refs do this. It's like, why can't you just call that a touchdown? There's a rule like for this that you can overturn it if it's not a touchdown. But if you don't call
for Green Bay. But
yeah, they do. Exactly.
That's how you measure ref bias in the NFL, by where they spot the ball. And they always spot the ball bad for the Lions always.
Did you hear the one time the ref spotted the ball and then moved it back a yard, and the fans erupted like they were pissed as shit because it was a good spot for the Lions? And it was just like, oh my God, I'm surprised he didn't just put it back. But anyways, yeah, I was shocked because then what happened last time we did something like that where Brock Wright got in, but he didn't get in, and we handed the ball to Jamal Williams, and the motherfucker fumbled, and they went and scored, and we lost the game. Like, it was all of a sudden, that's what I was thinking was like,
flashback. Yeah,
I was
like,
do not drop it, you know?
And then we were in shotgun too. I was kind of concerned about that. I thought, okay, Goff, maybe, we'll be on the inch yard line. Goff will QB sneak this in, or, maybe just Jamal Williams smash in. But we were in shotgun, and it was a draw play. And granted, Jamal Williams walked in basically untouched. So it was, hats off to the run block. Because
the record. It was great.
Were phenomenal all game. Paving huge holes for just Swift and Jamal Williams.
Get sacked?
Yes, he had at least one sack. So it was when he had the fumble because he fumbled it and bounced it off the ground.
Yeah. Oh my God. Another point where I was like, Jesus, Goff, hold on to the ball. You got gloves on, bro. What are you doing?
I know. That was
great touchdown by Jamal Williams, tying the record for Barry Sanders. He didn't even need to get another one. He got his name into the record books right there, and that was just outstanding. Like, way to go, Jay Will.
Yeah, man. Jamal Williams, are you guys on board? Should we pay him? This dude has just become an ultimate fan favorite. I'm sure you guys saw after the game, they interviewed him, and he stood up for Detroit. And RIP, his late great grandfather, which, that was kind of cool. He was doing it for him and, got emotional and then quickly flipped the script and was like, I just want to say one thing. Stop playing with us. Stop playing with us. And I loved how he's like, I don't watch TV, but I saw everyone picking Green Bay, everyone on ESPN, all the networks. And he's like, stop playing with us. And basically just went on this awesome, just, rant about we're the Detroit Lions, baby. Like, this isn't no more jokes. We are contenders. We aren't dark horses. We aren't pretenders. We are contenders next year to start. So
we got to pay him. We got to bring him back. The best thing, one of the best tweets I saw was Kyle, I'll never pronounce his name right, Kyle Minky, whatever his name is, tweeted out something about John Kaminsky, who's going to be a free agent this year, but had already, after the game, pulled the coaching staff aside and told them how much he wanted to be back. And that's what I think we're going to get out of all of these guys. Everyone understands what's being built here, and everyone is bought in. And I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find the few people that don't want to return, even maybe at a lower salary. Unfortunately, Jamal's career is coming to an end, I think. He's a little bit older. He probably doesn't have too much longer in him. I just don't know where the business side comes in. That you really do have to pay attention. But if we lose him, we lose not just our best running back, in my opinion, as I tweeted out yesterday, and said many times on this show, our best running back. We also lose a very emotional, I don't even know how
leader,
heart and soul, the leader, the beam that holds everything together, the whole house up, as I'm trying to get back to my house analogy. That's what Jamal Williams is, and so it's tough to lose that, but it's also very tough to pay a 31-year-old running back. It just is.
He's 28, isn't he?
I don't know. How old is he? Is he
I would give him a 2-year deal with a nice salary bump in the first year, with a way out in the second year for the team, just in case he grows rusty. But the foundational free agent pieces from Brad Holmes, free agent period.
He's 27, Nick.
Yeah,
that's even better. My God, guys, I thought he was 30, to be all honest, turning 31. And that's so much better than what I thought.
Running backs age in the NFL. They age in the NFL.
They do age in the NFL. Todd Gurley was 26 his last time. You know what I mean?
Jamal Williams, Leaf Raymond, and John Kaminsky. Those three guys are foundational pieces. You know what I'm saying? You can even throw Evan Brown there and
Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
Alex Anzalone.
You got to bring those guys back. Like Kaminsky and Williams, I'm for real, both of them, for sure, we need to re-sign them.
I'm throwing Isaiah Buggs in there and Kaminsky as well.
Oh, yeah.
I want both of those back. And honestly, if GJ wants to come back on a kind of a cheaper deal, I'm very okay. I love DJ Shark. I think he is very good. He is very good.
He's become very reliable. He caught
the game-winning pass. You
Not
you
even
don't trust
that.
someone to throw him that. You
On
know?
our game, the go-ahead touchdown, he caught the 4th and 2, which
Which was a low ball too. He
Yeah.
had to make a catch and he caught it.
that one was a little bit tougher than the one to win the game.
That one that he caught in 4th and 2 was that right there was when you ever seen the show How I Met Your Mother? Anyone? Either of you guys?
Yes.
Okay, so there's an episode called The Blitz, and it's like when you have the blitz on you, you're cursed basically, and you end up passing it away by whatever something happening. So you always miss everything awesome in this show.
Yeah,
it's a great episode. That's the moment I felt the blitz, the curse, leave Detroit, and it was like it seemed like for the last 9 weeks.
Point.
Oh my God, maybe we're not. We had the Peyton Manning and Jeff Daniels bathtub and tomato soup, and like, well, we're not cursing. That 4th and 2, almost 99 out of 100 times, the same old Lions drop that pass. Anyone, it literally could be anyone, and I not Kelvin, but anyone else it drops that pass. That crucial of a game. DJ Shark, who is not Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, I mean, I don't know. He makes the most spectacular catch on 4th and 2. And to me, that lifted the curtain. That was it. That's when I knew we were going to win the game. That's when I knew we were going to win the Super Bowl next year. That's when I realized we're never going to lose in our lifetime again. And so I'm just excited. So
I love it. Nick. That's honestly, I felt like that too. That's a perfect analogy because I totally get the reference. And yeah, man, it did feel like, the tides were turning. And like I mentioned earlier that, the 2 penalties, the bonehead penalties the Packers had where, Quay Walker, it's like that normally happens on the Lions. And so it was just great to see. But yeah, Julius, who was the peak performer of this game?
Let me just think about that for a second. Okay?
There were a couple, man. Hutchinson with the 2 sacks, Kirby with the interception.
The whole team was the peak performers. I can't say Dan Campbell was the peak performer of the week. But since I'm wearing his jersey, I'm going to go with Penei Sewell, who had a dominating performance against the Packers. No pressures allowed. Straight pancake dude on the hook and ladder at the end of the game kitchen.
So great.
Just perfect. And I mean, he was just all over the field mauling guys. I mean, we can't forget about how big the offensive line has been on this journey and will continue to be. And I'm going with my guy Penei. But you really could go in a ton of directions for peak performer of the week.
Yeah, you can.
I agree. Sewell, he was the absolute monster. Just one of the guys that, not your focal point, scorer, game changer, but like if you focused on him, you saw this dude making game-changing plays. And, I like Sewell. I probably would have to go with you too, Julius. Penei Sewell was phenomenal. Also a little honorable mention to Hutch getting those 2 sacks early, which that was, oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. And not to mention, those are only 2 sacks. So if Hutch doesn't get, one of those 2 or either of those 2, then we don't break the record for most rookie sacks as a team in NFL history, which the Lions own with, I think, 21 and a half. The Lions have most rookie combined sacks for any rookie draft class. But Hutchinson, phenomenal job, but I got to go Sewell. Nick, what about you?
I mean, we'll never see. I mean, maybe we will, but it's been 1991. The Detroit Lions set a record for their franchise with 16 rushing touchdowns by the greatest running back of all time, undoubtedly, unarguably. That was broken. 31 years later, I'm 31 years old. Maybe when I'm 62, I see this happen again. Jamal Williams with 2 touchdowns, breaking Barry Sanders' record, easily my peak performer. There's no doubt about it.
How about 10 of those? 10 touchdowns coming from the 1-yard line. And you might want to say, oh, that's luck, but hats off to Jamal Williams. It is hard getting it in from the 1-yard line. We have seen a lot of running backs struggle from inside the 5, just getting stuff, because it's predictable. You know what's going to happen. You're going to get a run right up the middle. But with Jamal Williams, more times than not, he's getting that 1 yard. So,
and like when you think of people who get a lot of touchdowns from the 1-yard line, to me at least, I think of like old fantasy running backs like Mike Tolbert, Jerome Bettis, these guys that are just 455 pounds, and they're just like, here you go, and no one can tackle them. They just walk in with 8 people on them. Jamal Williams ain't that. Jamal Williams just hits the holes right. When he hits a hole, he is already running downhill at full speed. It's crazy. Like we saw it like just last night. Anytime he got the ball, he was 9 yards past the line of scrimmage before someone actually hit him or like realized that they were hitting him because he runs so fast out the gate. It's nuts. Where DeAndre's a scat back, he's in a scat. He's that. Play a little jazz back there. But
I love the combo we got going.
I like it.
And then Justin Jackson, who picks up the amazing third down after the callback, was one of the best third downs we needed desperately. The love triangle.
I love man, like the couple times, both the announcers and the refs, you could tell like multiple times where the Quay Walker incident, that one was hilarious, and the Rasul Douglas one, because those were so blatant and obvious.
I don't know about hilarious, but they were dumb as shit. I cannot believe they did that.
It was so obvious that the refs were like we gotta call. Like, come on, guys, why do you gotta do this to us? And they're like,
I thought you explained it best when talking about the announcers or like you said the refs. You said it best, Adam, when you tweeted out like the refs. I'm sorry, not the refs. I can't even die. It had me laughing so hard. I'm just thinking about when I read this. The announcers were so heartbroken that the Packers lost. They were stunned silent.
Gosh.
After that game,
when Rodgers did the interception.
No. After the game, so the game ends and Rodgers is hugging people and they're speechless. Not a word. They had nothing written, nothing scripted, nothing planned for the Lions winning. They didn't know who the Lions players were. They called James Williams, Josh Reynolds twice. James Houston snuck in, and Chris Collinsworth was like, I don't know who's that. Who's number 50? James Houston. Yeah, well, he has 8 sacks in 6 games. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, bro. You can't lie to us like that. They didn't know anything. They didn't care to know. It was their last regular season game, and they expected, and no one thought that we were going to win. They all expected Rodgers to win, and Adam, you tweeted it perfectly. They were so heartbroken that we upset the Packers, and it's so great to see.
It truly seemed like Collinsworth the entire game was just, Aaron Rodgers this. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, he's so good. Do you see how Aaron Rodgers does this? And it was like, oh my gosh, give it a break. We know it. You love Aaron Rodgers. And then Tirico at the end, it seemed like this dude had, his life savings on the game and was just like, well, Packers lost the game to the Detroit Lions and they're eliminated from the playoffs.
That's so true.
And it was just so like you
should have streamed the game so people could have muted it and listened to us. Next year we'll do that for sure.
It was great.
Oh,
Julius, any thoughts on these announcers?
Man, listen. It's been like that our whole life as Lions fans, that the announcers favor the holy grail of Lambeu Field and Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre and the lowly Lions trying to beat them. So I'm not, it changed. We earn our respect.
I think it is going to change. I think changed.
Yes,
I think
the Lions are going to become the NFC Bills. You know how the Bills were a terrible team, a joke of the NFL, not make the playoffs. Next thing you know, Josh Allen comes in. He's an awesome dude. Everyone loves him. Well, we got guys like Jamal Williams, Amon-Ra, Hutch. They will, once they get that big time exposure, they will get, media, fans, tons of people fall in love with them. And we're going to be getting a ton of bandwagon fans next year that are like, Lions are my dark horse to win the Super Bowl, or Lions are my dark horse to win
that video that the Lions put out after the game, that team, remember, and they start showing how everybody, Michael Strahan,
dude, they're all laughing. They would laugh and
they were joking like,
Lions, they feel real
27-3 in Lambeu.
They do feel real stupid, dude, and it was great. That's why I'm all about Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan was the only analyst I saw from NFL Network or ESPN or Fox or absolutely anything say that we had a chance. Tony Dungy did too. Sorry, Tony Dungy and Rex Ryan, the only two that stood up for us out of 100. It was nuts.
It was, and I truly thought we were going to get, I knew it was going to be mostly Green Bay, but I thought we would get more than, one on,
Maurice Jones-Drew literally laughed. He laughed and scoffed at the idea that the Packers would lose.
Yeah, And I'm like,
Fuck you,
have
Julius. No,
you not been watching Aaron Rodgers and these Detroit Lions? Like,
No,
this is.
they were not watching the Lions. That's why they were like that. They were not watching like we were. They didn't know
I
the
think
team.
they were just overwatching the Packers. They had just they relied too much on their history. Like everyone knew the Lions were good, but no one. You're right. Maybe they weren't watching because no one knew how good we really were. So maybe you're right, Julius. You're right. I was thinking more they just all sat back and was like, Lions, Packers. Well, we know what's going to happen. We don't even have to watch film. Well, maybe you should because you get paid to talk about football. So dumbasses. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
All right, real quick before we wrap it up, Julius, Lions score a touchdown. We go up 2016. Packers are getting the ball back. We know what's coming. Aaron Rodgers time. Scale of 1 to 10. How nervous were you? Because honestly, I was kind of like,
this is a great question, Adam.
Here we go.
This is a great question, Adam, because any other time, I tell you how I feel. I'd be nervous. I'd be scared in my heart, like, you already know what's about to happen. But I was not that way. I was confident in the Lions. Matter of fact, I wasn't scared. I knew we were gonna win, man. Like I knew we were the better team. That's why the Seattle game burnt me so much and burnt so many Lions fans because I knew that the Lions were gonna beat the Packers. And I knew it watching the whole game, and I got hyped with them. And I knew on that last drive when we went up that we were going to hold them. So that's how I felt. I was pretty confident, and the Kirby Joseph interception and the way they ran out the clock, I knew they were capable of that. And that's why I was so happy to see it because I expected it.
I agree. Honestly, what I was feeling was like I was
any
thinking
other year was horrible. Any other year.
Honestly,
it's the brand new Lions.
This year, if you're watching them, your brain knows this isn't same old Lions. Your heart wants to tell you, no, we're about to get heartbroken. We've seen this story before. Don't fall for it. But your brain, man, that's what was going on. I think every Lions fan deep down, they're like, oh, Aaron Rodgers, he's about to rip us off. And then they just like the back of their mind was, nah. Hutch is about to strip sack him. Kirby's about to get that interception. Kaminsky's gonna mess shit up. We're gonna do this. And sure enough, Nick, were you feeling something like that, or were you more confident?
So I very much expected Aaron Rodgers to control the clock. He had 5 minutes and like 50 seconds to go. No, that can't be right. It was like 4 minutes.
3 minutes. Yeah, it was like
3 minutes. Okay. So I fully expected him to take the entire time and drive that ball down into the red zone. Fully expected, down to like the 4 or 5 yard line. I did expect us to hold strong and win the game when it came to that position because we had been doing that in the red zone, and that was our best shot. Where they are the worst NFL team in the red zone when first and goal comes to go. I think at the beginning of the game they were 11 of 20 scoring a touchdown. So I had a lot of confidence that we were going to win. I did not have the utmost confidence that we were just going to get the ball right away and then us be the ones to take it down and drive and just get the plays that mattered and all of this. It was just phenomenal. It was such a turn of the tide, and I'm so happy to be a Lions fan. What a great season. Historic. One of 2 teams to ever go from 1-6 and finish with a winning record. The 1970 Bengals and the 2000.
And honestly, man, if we're playing in the AFC South or the NFC South, we're division winners. So, like, once the NFC North crumbles down a little bit or just has a little bad luck,
just coming,
we will be able to waltz into an NFC North championship with, a 10-7 record if we don't have our best year, or, walk away with an 11-5 record, have it wrapped up by week 15. So it is looking
real
good.
Quick, before we wrap it up, I gotta bounce, but literally, hey, I know we're gonna be underdogs and we're gonna have some bandwagons, but guess what? We're America's team. Because I live down here in Texas and there's no Detroiters around me, you know what I'm saying? And I got people from all over the country down here at work. The Lions, they know. Like the rest of America knows that what Dan Campbell and the Lions, they can see it. They can see the effort, they can see the heart, and people from other teams love the Lions too. So, hey, America's team, baby, this is a great day.
They can smell what MTBC is cooking.
Yes, sir. As always, you guys can check us out at Honolulu Blues. Check us out individually at Everyday FFB, myself, the Fifth Top, Julius, and Nick Faber, NFL.
Ooh, we're gonna have a
Boys,
great
we-
offseason. The dog
we're
days,
coming for
Julius.
this,
I can't wait
baby.
to hear you talk about that. Ooh, next
We're
year, that's gonna
coming
be
for
ours.
this.
Woo woo!
Go